What is up, you guys, and welcome back to another video on high altitude investing. In today's video, I am interviewing Brandon, a developer from Handcash.io, the app that I personally use on my phone to store BSV. We're going to be talking a little bit about what BSV is, difference between Bitcoin, the block size things, what Handcash offers us as a community in the BSV community, and a little bit about Brandon's story. So Brandon, what's your story getting into crypto first?
Hey, how's it going? So I got into crypto like a lot of people in college, and I I wanted to do that for my full-time job. I just wanted to go all in on crypto full time. So I shopped around the idea of working for like Walmart headquarters and like big corporate jobs, but like it was like 2017, 2018, and they had no vision for it. So I went out and I found like a local startup that actually did crypto payments in real life, and that was the coolest thing ever. So I joined AnyPay, and
What was it called?
AnyPay.
AnyPay.
Yeah, and it was really cool. We like onboarded all of my hometown, and I could basically live my whole day like walking around paying in crypto.
And you're working with your friends as you're developing with your buddies and
Yeah, we were just hanging out, and you add a new feature, and you walk down to the store and try it out to buy lunch. So that was
that
a
is
really
pretty cool.
yeah. So in that, like we did BTC payments, Bitcoin Cash, BSV, Litecoin, Dogecoin. So I got a lot of experience working with each chain, and I just kind of fell in love with the vision of BSV and what it could offer. And I was fortunate to team up with this existing wallet, Handcash, which just had the best user experience out of any Bitcoin wallet or crypto wallet I ever used. So I made a point to reach out to them and join the team. And
And
then I was,
so what was the big deciding factor about being inspired from BSV as opposed to, because there was the fork and there was a lot of contention in the space at that period.
yeah, I was doing a lot of study of Austrian economics with my friends as I was working at AnyPay. And I just started thinking about like what's the future of Bitcoin in 20 years when the block subsidy is cut in half to like 0.0025 BTC per block. And when you start thinking of the miners as like a competitive industry, how did those entrepreneurs grow their business and create better services when there's a block size limit? Like when you can only accumulate so many transactions per block, then you're just artificially capping the amount of like reward the miners can get. And BSV has no block size limit, so it's really like a hyper capitalist environment where miners compete to like encourage more transactions, offer services that let businesses like Handcash grow, because they're incentivized, and that's the Bitcoin design. They're incentivized to, have more people use the network. So in 20 years from now, the block subsidy could be really small, but BSV is having a really high block reward because there's a lot of transaction fees
So as
from
opposed
volume.
to like Bitcoin, when there's tons of transactions, people are incentivized to use it less, the network's slow, the fees go up, all sorts of problems start happening. The real Bitcoin or BSV works to incentivize increasing transactions to pay miners more.
Right. And Amazon is a trillion-dollar company because of volume, and they offer all their products for the cheapest price. That's why people buy from Amazon. So BSV is the Amazon of blockchains because transaction fees go down as more people use it because they're getting profit by volume. Whereas BTC, the only way to get more fees is to charge higher fees. And like what what successful Fortune 100 company has a business model like that?
Right. You have to be providing an actual solution to efficiency issues. So what are some of the problems people have with BSV? Like there's the court cases. I know sometimes there's right now, especially with the price being down, there's probably some contention in developers and things.
Yeah.
What's
Well, I'll speak to the kind of the last subject we were talking about. The technical argument would be they would say BSV is a centralized, bigger blocks create a centralized blockchain. And I think that's the big myth in crypto, because when you run a BTC node, you're not actually doing anything to help the network. Like you can run a node on your computer, but it doesn't mean anything if you're not doing proof of work.
mining?
So yeah, if you're not mining, you could say this block is invalid, but your vote doesn't matter because you're not adding proof of work to the chain. So
Right.
in reality, yeah. So in reality, only the miners are nodes. So that's the myth that they'll sell you on why big blocks are bad. And then on top of that, to answer your other question, there's a huge disdain for Craig Wright and all of his legal cases against BSV.
He's kind of a misunderstood shark, maybe a little bit of a crazy guy sometimes. Or how do you feel about him?
I mean, he's definitely an antagonist. Like he's not trying to make friends, and but he does have a lot of good points, and he's been right about Bitcoin since like 2014 publicly, and I've learned a ton of things from him. But that doesn't mean he's a perfect guy, and
Right.
so
Right.
everyone.
So what of the things, because I do believe he's Craig Wright based on my studies. Now, of course, we haven't had enough legal cases to be like, okay, we can say this on Wikipedia that Craig Wright is Satoshi. But what do you think? Like, what is there something people can go look up? Is there a video series that people should check out?
Yeah, well, so I'm a technical guy. So the thing that really did it for me was um, he was on stage with Nick Szabo and a couple other like OG Bitcoiners, and this was like in 2015, and they say Bitcoin can't do smart contracts or it's not Turing complete. And Craig Wright butts in and explains how Bitcoin is Turing complete and you can do smart contracts on it. And everyone on stage is laughing at him. And Nick Szabo, who some people will say is Satoshi, says that's a really esoteric thing and kind of mocks him. And
Yeah.
then, like, a couple years later, the BSV dev writes this game of life and like proves it's Turing complete. And today we have like DeFi and like smart contracts running on BSV. Like you just write about it. So that's just one small thing. There's a really good YouTube video if you just Google why I think Craig Wright is Satoshi. Someone put together a video with a compilation, like a mashup of,
Compilation?
yeah, of a lot of really good things that kind of point to it.
Yeah. I also heard that he was working on like a store inside of the original Bitcoin code had like a Bitcoin store, right? Some
It had a poker client.
Oh
Maybe
yeah,
that.
that's what I was thinking of. Yeah. Yeah, the Bitcoin poker client. And that's
Yeah,
just something that if you weren't a developer, at least really close to the original source of Bitcoin, how would you know that type of thing?
right. And it's the same thing with SegWit. Like that SegWit was what split BTC and BCH. And if you're not really in the weeds, you don't really understand how SegWit like completely changes what Bitcoin is.
Right. So it's a big deal that he was aware of that type of stuff early on as well.
Yeah, well, he was very vocal against it.
Against
I mean,
SegWit.
lot of people were on that issue. That was a little more obvious, but yeah, he's just been consistently right, and also explaining kind of the economics of miners. Like, he really put an emphasis on, like, the most important people in a blockchain are the miners. Like, these people are the ones running the network. So I think just that idea wasn't really central. Like, people think like the most important people in BTC is like the community and like the voting and like all that stuff. When like it's not. It's the people running the machines.
Right. The actual miners are the people confirming the fact that we can send money to your friend in the first place. Without
Right.
them, there's nothing without the miners. Also,
Exactly.
it seems like wasted code to have everybody running a node if they're not really doing much for the network. Just a bunch of wasted code and space on computers, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's actually a negative because um, like if you so at one point maybe 2 or 3 years ago, before a lot of the infrastructure BSV had now, um, Handcash was listening to a node, but the node wasn't connected to the miners specifically. They're connected to like these hobby nodes, but you have a chance of being attacked if you're doing that. If you're not listening directly to the people mining, then it's called a Sybil attack, and like you could be getting sent fake information.
It's like having a false browser on your computer. You download Brave browser, but it's like not the true Brave browser, kind of
Yeah,
like some
exactly.
scam version of the code, and then you log in your stuff, and then your Facebook password is stolen.
Right. So you want to listen to the actual miners that are like have a financial risk if they are um, kind of spoofing you.
Yeah, right. Because they're incentivized to confirm the transaction correctly, not just confirm the transaction.
Like, think about where else in life do you accommodate the lowest common denominator? Like, they say the block size can't get any bigger because everyone needs to run the code. Like, that's basically like socialism or communism. It's
Right.
like we like we're in a classroom and we're gonna make the test so the stupidest person in the class can pass it. And it's like,
So nobody's incentivized to learn.
right, that school's not gonna produce like really great people because like everyone's they just have to do like the bare minimum to pass.
Right. That's a very, very good point, man. So, man, that's exciting. I love hearing what you have to say about this because I know that you're hands-on with this stuff. You're a developer in the space. You've been thinking about this since a while as you studied. What type of economics were you and your friend studying?
Austrian economics.
Austrian economics. That might be something I have to look into a little bit more.
Yeah, I there's two, Man Economy and State by Rothbard, and then Human Action by Mises are like two huge like economic books. And we just went through the study guide and read each chapter, and it really expanded my knowledge on economics.
Yeah, man, I'll have to look into those a little bit. Maybe there's an audiobook of one of them. Do you think there's an
I mean,
audiobook?
there is an audiobook. They're really long. Maybe it took us like a year to go through like a
We
single
might just
book.
have to hop on a call together again one of these days and you can break it down for me a little bit because
Yeah, but the study guides are good. But yeah, they're I think it's been valuable information just for me in life in general.
yeah, I'm into economics and I'm very into stuff that especially capitalism type stuff. The world has their own opinions about capitalism, communism, socialism, and I'm not saying that there's a blanket way to look at the world, right? I think sometimes if we just say capitalism only or this only, it can be dangerous, but I do think that the founding fathers were pretty smart in understanding the way they set up this country's economy. I firmly believe that. So what about Handcash? What's your kind of vision with Handcash? What's your motto? You mentioned you had a kind of a way that you looked at the app.
Yeah, so Handcash is trying to be the Nintendo Wii of crypto wallets or Bitcoin wallets, in that we're trying to make it easy for everyone to use Bitcoin. Um, the way I think of like the normal DeFi or Solana or Web3 wallets, they're really marketed towards these hardcore crypto people, which is fine. Like there's a huge market, but I look at that as the people that play PlayStation or Xbox. But Nintendo Wii had this huge home run and probably won the console wars because they were going after, the family or the everyday consumer. And I think that's really some untapped potential in the crypto
You,
world.
you guys also added where you can purchase BSV with a credit or debit, or does it?
Yeah, yeah. You can use, so right in the app, like we're trying to solve the onboarding problem. So when you download Handcash, for minimal, I forget the exact limits, but very minimal KYC, you can get like your first Bitcoin, and then more advanced KYC if you want to purchase more. But all right within the app with your credit card.
And Handcash is not trying to be a cold storage wallet. This is a active currency wallet, yeah?
Right. So Handcash, you connect your Handcash wallet to other apps and games. Like, have you ever played the Haste Arcade? Or do you know
I
about
played
that?
a little bit. There was like a bird kind of game that was similar to the old Flappy Bird.
Flappy Bird.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're trying to enable games like that where you connect your Handcash and you use the money in your wallet to spend. Um, so like I think of my Handcash wallet as the wallet in my pocket.
Yeah, and you can connect it to T-Swap, and you could probably connect it to some of the NFT platforms,
Yeah.
Twitch for social
You're
media.
like TDXP.app, and it's a leverage trading platform all on chain.
Really?
Yeah,
I
it's really
haven't
cool.
seen that one yet. Don't tell me too much about leverage trading platforms. I've made money and lost money on those websites too.
Yeah, it's cool. And it's denominated in BSV, so you take like one BSV and you can put that on margin to trade like any crypto, any commodity. Like it's really cool.
That is cool. The other thing that's cool about BSV, and I love your Handcash app too, because the first time I used it, I sent BSV to my other phone just to test, and it was like I could barely swipe my finger across the slide button before my other phone went ding, and the money was already there. I know that's the way that BSV was programmed with the bigger block size and stuff, the way that he built it to be that fast, but the Handcash app just worked so good as a way to send it from one wallet to the other.
Yeah, we try to take the approach of like not just existing crypto companies, but our benchmark is like existing payment companies, and like we want to be faster and more reliable than Venmo or Cash App or any of these other things. And then our competitive advantage is that we can do it for way cheaper because we're using the blockchain.
Yep. And that it's not a centralized company saying, I'll send this money to these people. Thanks for trusting us.
Right, right,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's awesome, man. That is so cool. And you're getting ready to go to another BSV conference too. So you're pretty engulfed in the crypto space as a whole, it sounds like.
Yeah, yeah. I'm headed to Dubai for the BSV Global Conference, and there's a lot of interest in the UAE specifically around BSV, and it's getting more attention, I think, than BSV is getting in the US.
That is exciting stuff, man. I'll have to keep in touch with you to hear how the conference goes, and maybe we'll get a little bit of a buy the rumor, sell the news. Maybe the price will rise up into that point. I know it's been crashing for a while, so let's hope that
Yeah.
it turns around. And so where should we send people? Is there the Handcash official website? Is it just handcash.io?
Yeah, handcash.io. you should actually send people with your invite link.
In the
So when
description.
yeah, so if you provide your invite link, you're gonna get like 15% of the profit from top up, and that's just a way. And then your followers can share their link, and it's just a way of like incentivizing people to grow the Handcash network.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
and then
And
like I encourage them to play Haste Arcades or like a Duro Dogs game. You can find them in the app gallery, and you'll start playing games for like BSV. You start earning it. You start like not staking, but pay to play. It's all these fun things.
so there's the apps, so they can download it on both iPhone or Android.
Right.
They can get
And we
the
have,
app,
yeah.
and they should use the link in the description. How about you? Do you have a Twitter handle or something you want to shout out?
Yeah. I'll send you, I think it's Brandon Bryant 02 on Twitter, and you can follow me for more Handcash updates.
Sweet. And then there's the official Handcash Twitter as well.
Right, right.
Sweet, man. Well, I'm excited about the stuff you guys have been doing in the space. I know BSV has taken a lot of heat through the court cases as price dropped. There's a lot of people saying it sucks. And also, you mentioned that there's even a whole group of Bitcoiners trying to sue Craig Wright, which kind of makes me ask why they're trying so hard, right? Like, what's so
Yeah,
scary about Craig Wright if he's just a crazy dude, you know?
right.
Like, why are you guys trying to fight back so much? So,
It's not just Bitcoiners, it's Jack Dorsey and like Facebook. It's these huge players that are come together to sue him. So yeah, you have to ask why are they paying attention to this? What it was BSV 60 on CoinMarketCap.
yeah. It's still
Yeah,
pretty big though. To be 60 is definitely important to be aware of. But I agree with you that it's smaller than like the big names and what everybody hears. And people
right.
tend to think it's just something that just came and passed or was just this crazy
Yeah,
dude.
yeah. So I guess my message would be just to try it, try Handcash, and kind of ignore the FUD and make your own opinion. Because
Yeah.
like Handcash and like we have a solid group of companies. It's not just Handcash that are really building on BSV, and because it's so stable, like we're building like more and more complicated things and better apps and games.
Yeah, I love T-Swap. Like I've got some of my one-on-one members invested on projects in T-Swap, connected straight to the Handcash. They've got Handcash on their phones. So it works just perfectly. You guys have built a great app. Sounds like you've got a good team. Sounds like they've been good to you, helping make sure that you guys are are good. Um, Set up to help develop in this app as most effectively as possible
Right.
as things move forward. So,
Yeah, it's exciting.
well, thank you, Brandon. I'm definitely gonna have to drop my link in the description to let everybody know. I'll put your Twitter down there. And yeah, my message to you guys would be the same as Brandon. Try it out for yourself. When I got into BSV and put it in my Twitter handle and stuff, it was for a good reason. I've been in this space since 2015. I got ridiculously excited about Bitcoin at $500 when it first broke out. Went to McDonald's with my friends and was like, Bitcoin's gonna eating spicy chicken. Bitcoin's gonna moon. Um, and I really just hadn't got that same feeling since I found BSV. And for
Right.
me, I'm a technical guy as well. I do technical analysis, right? But sometimes when you just know something intuitively, you have to follow that. And that's what it's been for BSV. Try it out for you guys yourself. See what you think of Handcash. Look into BSV, why the block size is different, why miners do really have such an influence on the market, and make your own decision. Don't just believe what the internet says or what's popular to think about it. Would you agree with that, Brandon?
Yeah, exactly. Just go a little deeper, I think.
Any last words?
No, just try Handcash.
Good plan,
Hopefully,
man.
yeah.
Hey, well, thank you guys for tuning in to today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it, that you learned something. Hit the like button, subscribe. We will see you in future videos on this channel. And as always, stay profitable out there. See you later, Brandon.
Bye.